Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. South Korea is actually launching its digital yuan, at least in a pilot program phase next year. They're going to start distributing in the pilot program phase next year. So the US is really falling behind because obviously China is doing the CBDC, but China is a closed economy. They can do it much easier because they actually have full control over their economy, whereas the United States government really doesn't because it's more of an open market economy. There's other countries like Venezuela, but no one really cares about Venezuela. But South Korea is like a fairly large country, a decently large economy, and it's actually launching its CBDC pilot program. Even though it has no plans to actually launch officially, the pilot program actually sort of started in March, and it's supposed to run for 22 months. So March of 2020, you can see March of 2022. The pilot will actually run until then, and then I think at least by 2022, if not sooner, they will actually officially launch and distribute their CBDC. So basically, we have like a year and a half before South Korea gets in the game. And based on the pace of US regulations, I don't think we're anywhere close. And I don't think digital currencies are on the primary agenda of either presidential candidate. So the South Korean bank announced on October 7th that it will begin the distribution phase of its central bank digital currency or CBDC pilot scheme next year, according to a report by local media outlet the Korea Times. We will see the Bank of Korea test distribution of the digital yuan in a virtual environment, although BOK officials stressed that there will be no third-party involvement at this point. So it's like a closed test right now. But they'll run the pilot for a while and then they'll probably test in a real-world environment. The CBDC will be issued and circulated in the virtual world, and we are going to test a number of transaction scenarios under a variety of circumstances. As Cointelegraph reported, BOK's 22-month CBDC pilot scheme launched in March of this year. Distribution is the third and final phase of the program and would seem to be on schedule with the roadmap presented on the scheme's launch. Phase 1 was completed in July and defined the requirements and the design of the CBDC along with the review of the technology needed to implement the project. The second phase is currently underway and is focused on an analysis of the business and related processes. This is scheduled to run until the end of 2020, leading to the final build and distribution phase. Despite solid progress on the pilot program, the Bank of Korea maintains that it has no currently confirmed plans to launch a CBDC once it completes. Rather, it wishes to be fully prepared to take on such measures if market conditions, either nationally or globally, were to change suddenly. This may be the case once China's persistently just around the corner digital yuan finally launches. So obviously Korea, being in the same region as China, they don't want to fall behind China, with reports suggesting that South Korean merchants would be open to accepting this as a payment method. So basically, South Korean merchants are already open to this idea. They see what's actually going on in other parts of the world. Korea doesn't want to fall behind China. It's more urgent for them because they're in the same region of the world, whereas the US is not. But the US is just basically falling more and more behind these other regions as they actually fuel the pressure to launch. I think China is definitely pressuring Japan, Korea to really move on forward. And in the Western world, you have Venezuela, but no one really cares about them. And Canada and Mexico don't really seem to be that forward thinking on crypto either, or at least I don't see them having anything actually for launch yet. So right now, in the United States, I think we're a little bit stuck, and I think we definitely need to do better. But South Korea is actually paving the way forward, and I think the US needs to take South Korea's example. Otherwise, we're going to be left in the dust. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.